A flower does not think of competing with the flower next to it. It just blooms. Hi, I'm Linda Watson-Call. I'm so glad you could join me for today's episode of Dragonfly Soup. Is it human nature? Something that's in our blood? Or is it something that we've been taught? I have read that it takes about 1/10 of a second to develop an opinion about another person, and our first impression will last, even if we find out that we're wrong. And even if we know we're wrong most of the time, we'll continue to do this. It's really a hard habit to break. The sad part is this habit carries into our everyday activities. It seems that no matter where we are or what we're doing, we're constantly creating opinions and then letting those opinions affect what we are trying to do. Then this comparison turns into a competition to prove who is better, who is smarter, who is richer, more traveled, you name it. This happens everywhere, no exception. And sometimes it affects us personally. It affects our family and our goals. I see it both in the classroom and in my horseback riding arena. We encourage students to do their best, but somehow doing your best translates into being better than anyone else in that class. Really? Who told you that? This is where I wish we could just give out 2 grades, satisfactory or unsatisfactory, and not have the grade up for discussion or public viewing. And it's not just in the classroom, it's part of sports as well. Even when I was a kid and we played baseball in the alley, there was competition. Who hit the most home runs? The translation to this was who could hit the most balls over the barn roofs and into the neighbor's yard. Who made the most catches or tossed the most strike balls? This competitiveness spills into other parts of our lives as well. When I graduated from high school, I was very happy to land a job with one of the utility companies. I was making 75 cents more an hour than one of my classmates who worked at the local grocery store. Well, that joy was short-lived, as another classmate got a job that paid 25 cents more an hour than mine did. Then it turned into who got engaged first, bought their first home, had their first child, who had the smarter child, and the list goes on. I know a young man who is in agony because he has never been married and feels that he is approaching the "if I don't get married soon, I'll never get married" age. Does this really matter if he's happy with his chosen career and lifestyle? To him it does. A little competition is fine, but when it interferes with a person's happiness, then another way of doing things has to be explored. When I meet with people who are evaluating their goals, I hear the comparisons and the competition creeping in. One person has a goal of owning a small boutique in town. That's a great goal. I ask her about her business plans, where she would get her merchandise, and other similar questions. No answers. But she knows she wants to be more successful than Granny's Attic, a boutique in the neighboring city. So I ask her, how much does she really know about Granny's Attic's business? What would more successful really look like? No real answers here either, just as she doesn't think the merchandise in that store should be priced so high because it's not high quality. Competition between businesses is good, but if you don't have a plan and you don't know if the other business is really successful or not, then your goal doesn't stand a chance. I tell her that reviewing similar businesses is always a great idea, but her plans have to be just that, her plans, not based on a business that she perceives as successful or unsuccessful. Another young man tells me that his big dream goal is to become a major baseball player. He's a great player on his high school team and feels that he has a good chance. He's on more teams than just his high school team, and every coach tells him that he has talent. With the awards that he's already received, he could be picked up by a scout for one of the minors. I asked him if he had a portfolio prepared with his major accomplishments and how he compared to other players in his age range. He told me that his portfolio was in order, but he felt his record should stand on its own merit, not where he stood with other players in his current leagues. Exactly. This young man's focus is on how he performs and what he thinks his performance should be to make his goal. He evaluates himself against himself, not someone else. After all, a flower doesn't think of competing with the flower next to it. It just blooms. And so should we. Set our goals, focus on our plan, and don't compare what we're doing to someone else. We have our own set of criteria, which may be different from theirs. And above all, don't compete with anyone else other than ourselves. Achieving our goal is our prize. That is what sets us apart from the rest. Please share in the comments or in a message what tactics you use to focus on your goal. What are you doing to avoid comparisons and competing with others? And don't forget to click like for this episode and share it with your friends. And I'll see you next week, right here on Dragonfly Soup. Here's to our transformation and our best year ever.